woke up feeling on top of the world, like nothing's ever gonna bring me down. This feeling got me flying high as a bird. I may never touch the ground. It may not be my birthday, but I just wanna celebrate. I just wanna celebrate, 'cause it's a good day.
Check it. Chipper. Your jelly. We know it. Ladies, gentlemen, and if your pets are watching with you, welcome to episode 40 of the Waft. I'm Dwight.
And I'm Emily.
And
This is Chipper.
this is Chipper. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Bet on Yourself Boutique.
Oh, man.
Sweet name. Coming to the interwebs near you soon. I forget our normal open because I'm so distracted by the Chipper here.
It's like we're Dwight and Emily. We own and operate a 6-figure business
In the form of Cycle Bar.
West Omaha and 5 figures of debt
Soon to be 4.
to be paid off in February.
And that's going to be January at this point.
Get a hair.
So shout out to us
Yeah.
for paying that off. Let's do this thing. Before we get into this week's question, a little recap ski. Weekly Wafters, or Weekly Wafter in this case, our number one listener, Sandra, shout out. The one person who commented and liked it, so thank you. And you know what? You gotta start at the bottom and build yourself up. Because you look at all these other people like that have these super famous podcasts or like YouTube people. Like if you go back far enough in their history, they got like 10 views. Or like Instagram people, go look at their likes. They used to have
Yeah,
like
oh
jack
my God,
shit
yeah.
and then they blow up. So it's like
I know.
it's all about the hustle and you just gotta keep going. And we enjoy this too. Like I'm not a proponent of like continuing to do something if you don't enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah. I think that it's not about the quantity, it's about quality.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather have 10 listeners, which we have like 100, but that I actually know and interact with rather than 10,000 who I don't even know. So,
Exactly.
you know,
We'll blow up to 10,000
someday.
someday.
The Chipper merch will get us there for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
$40 cash. Find us. That's all I'm saying. But seriously. Recap from last week. We were talking about what shaped us. Who and what?
Who or what?
Who or what? And I forgot to mention, pro wrestling, like 100% shaped me. If you see me, I'm very like animated, over the top, and I like to entertain. And as a kid, that's all I fucking did is watch pro wrestling, and like they were like superheroes, larger than life. So I think that's where I get a lot of my extrovertedness from and my personality from. Or watching like sports growing up, watching people like Jerry McNamara. No one listening to this probably gonna know that name. Played at Syracuse. Small white guy, probably shouldn't be playing D1, but had the heart of a champion. So just watching people that like work their asses off to get to where they're at influenced my work ethic as well. You have any follow-up? You want to give your parents another shout out?
I mean, yeah, shout out Pam and David every damn week for being awesome.
Yeah. Shout out Andrew too, if you're watching. It's her brother.
I don't know if he's a wafter.
Yeah, who knows. All right, question of the week from, you guessed it, number one listener, Sandra. She wants to know if we've discussed death, wills, arrangements. Have we discussed it as a couple? What are our thoughts? Jess, feel free to put that however you want in the question below. But yeah. Death.
What happens if we die?
There you go. I go deeper than that because I think death, like you and I have very different viewpoints of death.
Let's start with the basics. I know why Sandra asked this question. We don't have a will. I have a will for Macklemore. It is in writing that Macklemore stays with Dwight. And then I have my car also taken care of, and that goes to my dad. But that's the most important basis.
Frank goes to my mom.
Chipper, probably Tina, but honestly, he'll probably have like a...
He'll say it's Cycle Bar.
He'll have like a rotation of people. We don't want to like pick one person, but...
Yes.
It'd probably be like Tina is the main like hub.
He'd probably be at Cycle Bar, but you could take home a piece of Chipper with you for only $40 cash.
Yeah. Great job.
That's a nice little promo if you ask me.
Great little promo.
For death, I don't like to think about it because it fucking terrifies me. But it's kind of like taxes. I don't do my taxes, but if you were to do your own taxes, you know it's going to happen, you just don't want to do it. So I'm not going to think about it until I have to think about it. Death's the same way. It's going to fucking happen to all of us. And it's going to suck and it's going to be scary. So it's just like, why do I think about it now? Like, that's my viewpoint on it.
Yeah, I have a totally different viewpoint.
Yeah.
I think about death not often, but I think about it and I like purposely think about it because I think if you constantly remind yourself that you have a limited lease on life, like we are here for a finite amount of time and everyone's going to die.
Yep.
And I like to think about it sometimes
Except
because
Macklemore.
no, I like thinking about my death. I don't
Yeah.
like thinking about it, but I think about my death because it makes me change how I operate my day-to-day life. Like if I'm in a funk or if I'm being silly and like moody about something,
Pissy.
like pissy, if I think about like, if I constantly remind myself of the fact that we have a limited lease on life, it literally shifts how I go about day to day. Like I'll let things go or I'll just like approach the day with a better attitude. If you're like, I only have a finite amount of time here, like this day, we're never fucking gonna get back.
Yeah.
So let's do it right. And that's why I actually like think about death because it just helps you live life fuller.
But how much do you think about, like, how often do you truly think about death itself?
Not often. I honestly think about it probably more than you think. Like, I really struggle with depression and anxiety, and there are days where, like, I just feel it so heavily, but I try to remind myself of that we have a limited lease on life, and I want to make sure, like, every day is fucking lived to the fullest, and it helps pull me out of the upside down. Erica and I call our anxiety the upside down if you watch Stranger Things, because that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like you're in this, like, different world of yourself, and it really helps to pull me out when I think about how, like, our time is limited. We never know when it's going to end. Like, our health is our biggest thing. Like, what happens if we don't have that anymore? So I want to live every day to the best.
Shout out to my man crush, Alex Hermosi, who has really shaped the way I think about it, because who just died 2 weeks ago? The Queen of England.
Oh, yeah, the Queen.
Exactly. And you haven't fucking thought about it outside of those 48 hours after it happened. And she is world renowned, world known. So we're just little peons, all of us. So like outside of the few people who are closest to us, when we die, 48 hours, 72 hours, a week, 2 weeks later, no one's gonna fucking remember. So it probably is depressing to say it like that, but really I think that helps me live life to the fullest, because it's like, legacy's overrated. Like in 100 years, no one's gonna fucking know who you were. So right now, like you said, we have this moment.
Yeah.
So instead of dwelling on the shit, it's like, or like the shitty email, the shitty text, whatever it is, that means absolutely nothing in 24 hours, like that helps me just being like, we're all gonna die. It's all gonna happen, and then everyone's gonna forget about us. So let's just have a ball and enjoy the shit out of the time we have.
Ed Milet said something that blew my mind in one of his podcasts. He said, imagine you're on your deathbed and God shows you a video of what your life could have been. I like that a lot. Literally rocked my fucking world, because I was like, holy shit, like imagine at the end of your life someone plays you a video of what you could have done. And so I always like to think about the end of my life and what I want to be feeling, and it just helps me live every day like just maxing out and just being like, you know what, we're gonna go into 6 figures of debt, we're gonna open a business, we're gonna do what we love, because at the end of the day, like I want to do what I love and what sets my soul on fire every fucking day, because life is so short.
Yeah.
You know, that.
In the grand scheme of things, absolutely.
But I don't think of anyone else's death. Like, I literally will go into a fucking spiral if I think about, like, my parents or Macklemore or Chipper. So I can only contemplate my death. I can't contemplate anyone else's.
This is a dark episode. Thanks, Sandra. Goodness.
I think it's a very interesting topic because we have totally different views. Like, I remember I used to bring up death and you, like, shut that shit down because you hate thinking about it, where I'm like, let's talk about it.
It's gonna happen. I fully am aware that it's not like I'm in denial about it. It's just, why would I think about something being gone forever? I don't know.
You live every day to the fullest.
We don't have wills. We probably should.
I've brought it up several times that we need one now that we have a business.
Yeah.
But if we die, Cycle Bar probably goes to corporate.
At this point, until we pay it off, then it probably goes to your parents, honestly.
I think it probably would go to my parents, yeah. Congrats, Mom and Dad, you own a cycling studio.
Who the fuck said we're dying?
I know.
You know something I don't?
No.
I don't know what an arrangement is.
Also, have we talked about, like, I don't know, I obviously want to be cremated.
Oh.
And I don't have, like, do we have, like, a season, like, if you are a vegetable, do you want me to pull the plug on you?
that I don't want to think about it. I'm not going to be a
But
vegetable.
you need to know, because then what if it happens and you're like, I don't want to think about it, and then there's nothing written down, then you're fucked.
Frank gets to decide.
Oh, then you're.
He's not going to.
He's brain dead.
Yeah, he's just going to curl up in a ball next to me.
Yeah.
Go with me.
Yeah, they're never like fun conversations, but I think that it is important because you never know.
Do you guys think about it? Yeah.
Yeah, at what point do you get a will?
So the weekly waft for this week, if you want to be a weekly wafter, like the video on YouTube, and then drop a comment. Drop any comment. Really, let's make it easy. But if you want like a little direction, drop a comment on your thoughts about death, because it's a fucking heavy topic, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think my death is heavy. I think other people's death is heavy because
they're overweight. I was taking shots at people.
Because to me, it's harder to deal.
Just throw a little
harder to
zing
deal
in
with.
there after that joke. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. And then the other thing I put down, this is just us kind of talking back and forth after, we got a few more minutes here. When looking back at last week and what shapes us, I'm super extroverted, she's super introverted. Are we born that way? And I don't know this answer. I'm sure I could probably Google it, but think about just your upbringing. Were you always introverted? Like when you were, like your earliest memories, like when you were with you, I mean, you were probably 2 years old going to etiquette school, so.
I did go to etiquette school.
At 2 years old.
I do think, no, I went to etiquette school in middle school. Shout out Mrs. Simpson's. I don't think it's a thing anymore, but damn.
She's probably listening.
Mrs. Simpson's dead for sure.
Probably not listening.
But I always was shy. But I don't know that, I mean, I remember like as a kid having play dates, and I fucking loved play dates and like sleepovers. And so I honestly think it's, I think it is a result of how you are raised. So like being shy, and then like just school was really traumatizing for me. I hated being called on in class. Like I remember crying a lot, being terrified of like public speaking. And I honestly feel like that just forced me to kind of like be more reserved and not like being around people, because to me being around people was always really scary.
Look what you do now though. Like that's what you do on the stage is super extroverted. So is it just a product of not your upbringing, but what you're surrounded by, or what I guess you want to do?
Well, I don't know if you're bored with it or not, but to me, like we talked about with class, like today I taught mindset, and at the end of class, like I'm physically tired, but I am like emotionally just fucking drained. And I think it's because it takes so much for me to get in front of people, to pour everything I have out to people, and at the end of it, I'm drained. Whereas you're an extrovert and you teach a class and you are on like the biggest fucking high because people give you energy. But yeah, I don't know if you're born that way or if it's something you develop over time. I feel like it's something that I've developed over time through like all of my things.
But you fully label yourself introvert, and I fully would label myself extrovert. But is there?
But I also think that is like it's science.
Is there a middle ground though? Because like
yes, introverted. I'm an introverted extrovert because being around people I love, and I love being at Cycle Bar, and I love teaching my classes, and that's very extroverted. But I definitely fill up my cup being alone sometimes. I also fill up my cup being with friends and being with family that I love and like I can be myself around. I think what I find exhausting is like feeling pressure to always like live up to people's expectations in like a public setting, and then it's just like exhausting.
That makes sense. I didn't know if there was like, I don't know, if you're listening, comment, introvert, extrovert, or are you see like you said you're an introvert. Can I be an extrovert and introvert?
I think you can be like the mix of both. Like I also think that it is who I am. Like, I know that I need time alone. Even when I'm with my family, like, if we're together for a long period of time, like, I need to be alone.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a cop-out. I think that it is, like, a limiting belief that I have that, like, I'm an introvert, so I can't be good at sales. I'm an introvert, so I'm never going to be the best instructor. I'm an introvert, so I'm never going to X, Y, and Z. I think I use it. It is a crutch. 100%.
Yep.
And, like, it is a fact that I like being alone a lot, and I don't get my energy from other people. Like, I say I have a limited amount of coins every day, And when I have social interactions, it takes away a coin. When I teach a class, it takes away 10 fucking coins. And I have to be alone to get my coins back. But I do think a lot of times I and other people can use it as a crutch of like, well, I just can't do this. I can't make this sale. I can't go to the next level because I'm an introvert.
Yeah. It's a crutch, but also we talk about, like in business all the time, it's setting yourself up for success by putting yourself in positions that are best for your skill set.
Yeah.
It'd be like if we were going to open another business and I'm like, I'm going to open a makeup store. Like that makes, I can talk to people, I can sell, but I know jack shit about makeup. So that's probably not the smartest decision.
Yes.
So I think the same way. Like,
and I think we've learned that in our business, like when we first, even in pre-sale, like I was the one making phone calls and I was the one doing the emails and the texting.
Yep.
Where like that was not putting us in a position to be successful. So right now,
probably
like,
could have paid off the 6 figures in the one last year.
Right, you have total control over the sales part of it in studio because that's not where I thrive. I thrive in like the marketing behind the scenes part of it. And so I do think whether you own a business or you're in a business, like it's important to put yourself in positions and put your employees in positions
100%.
where they're going to be the most successful. So like I am an introvert. It's the way it is. So it's like I am not the front-facing person who's going to greet the new people. People laugh at me sometimes because a new person will be walking in.
This is a
Before
true story.
they get into the studio. And like it used to be like Rachel and Dwight or Dwight and Rebecca will be in the studio talking and I'll literally come get them. I'll be like, yo,
guys,
isn't an extrovert. Someone needs to go out front.
Little kid
because
panicking.
why are you gonna put the introvert to do the sale and to do the talking when it's like that's not where that person's gonna walk out and be like, that lady's a bitch. You know, so it's definitely put your people in the position where they can be the most successful.
That lady up front, she was pretty pissy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably
PMSing.
Every single employee, except Rebecca probably. I think every single employee, I'd be very curious, has at one point said Emily is terrifying, or Emily's a bitch, or Emily doesn't like me. I guarantee every single employee at Psycho Bar, except Rebecca, because she doesn't give a fuck, has said that.
I've said all three.
When you first met me, yeah. 100%. Every member has probably said that at some point as well.
Yeah. So if you want a chipper sweatshirt, $40, cash money. If there's a weird little break there, it's because the camera stopped recording because apparently we talked too long today.
Yeah.
But in summary, death, give it a thought. It's kind of scary to think about. And by kind of, I mean really. But yeah, interesting to think about.
Maybe it helps you come out of the upside down if you need it.
Yeah. Maybe it's like, share, you can't turn back time, but it'll help you move forward and live like the best life possible. And then, are you an introvert, extrovert? Any thoughts on it?
Are you born that way?
Easy, Gaga. Till next time.
It may not be my birthday,
Peace out, Cub
Peace out, Cub Scouts.
but I just want to celebrate.